she threw a pillow at a shadow standing in her doorway. It hit something solid, and it moved. If you make it to the end of this one, you'll understand why he still isn't sure what he saw. Subscribe now, because the next story gets even harder to explain. 5 years ago, he'd just gotten out of a decade-long relationship, high school sweethearts, the kind that rarely make it. Dating as an adult was foreign territory, apps, a few dead-end dates, then JoJo. Things moved slow. By choice, they'd both just left long relationships. But early on, she started asking him to sleep over, almost daily, even offered the couch if he wasn't comfortable. He finally asked why it mattered so much. She hesitated, looked embarrassed, said it would mean the world if he stayed, but she didn't want to explain why. He promised not to judge. He broke that promise in about 2 minutes. For weeks, she hadn't slept well. She kept waking up convinced someone was standing in the corner of her room, told herself it was shadows playing tricks. It got worse. She couldn't make herself get out of bed some nights. Once, sleeping on the couch, she woke to find the shadow standing in the doorway instead. The night before she told him all this, she'd thrown a stuffed animal at it, just to prove to herself she wasn't losing her mind. It hit something, and the shadow moved. He laughed it off, called it the monster under the bed. She got more upset, not less. This was exactly the reaction she'd been afraid of. He suggested sleep paralysis. She insisted it wasn't that. He told her to sleep with the lights on, no shadows in a bright room. She had. Instead, the closet door cracked open on its own, and the shadow relocated inside it. He didn't believe in the shadow, but he agreed to stay over that night anyway, mostly out of guilt. She fell asleep on the couch around 8 p.m., exhausted from weeks without real rest. He sat upright beside her, eventually dozing off himself. Some time later, she shook him awake, terrified, told him to look at the doorway across the room. He squinted into the near-total dark and saw it. A shadow that didn't make sense. He tried to get up. She grabbed his arm, begged him to stay put. He started shouting at it, feeling ridiculous, yelling into the dark at nothing. She told him it wouldn't respond. It just stood there, watching. He reached for a throw pillow, certain that if it was really just a shadow, it would pass right through. She stopped him, reminded him what happened last time something touched it. He threw it anyway. It hit something. A solid thud. The pillow dropped to the floor, and the shadow slowly receded into the room behind the doorway. He was on full alert now. She was hysterical on the couch. He got up despite her pulling at him, made his way to the doorway, and stopped. A whisper, coming from inside the dark room. No words he could make out, just the unmistakable sound of one. As he stepped toward it, the door slammed shut in his face. He heard her scream behind him. He tried the handle, locked. From the other side came the sound of things crashing, breaking, like a windstorm trapped in a small room. Then silence. He grabbed his keys, picked the lock, and went in. The room, her home office, was destroyed. Furniture overturned, papers everywhere, like a tornado had been let loose inside it. 2 things stood out immediately. The window was wide open, screen gone entirely, and there was no shadow anywhere in sight. He told her everything was okay, helped her clean instead of calling the police, at her insistence. She was certain it wouldn't help. She stayed at his place for a few nights after. When they finally returned to hers, together, nothing happened. When she stayed alone for the first time since, she slept through the night without incident. 5 years later, they're engaged. They still argue about that night. She's certain it was something supernatural. He's still convinced there's a rational explanation he just hasn't found yet. The one thing they agree on completely, whatever it was real. He heard it. He watched a pillow bounce off something that wasn't supposed to be there. He sometimes wonders which would actually be worse, a shadow entity, or a person who was simply standing there watching her sleep. Either way, it never happened again. At least not yet. Some things don't need to be explained to be believed. They just need to leave a bruise on a pillow, and a question that never fully goes away.